And is it really a YouTube video if I didn't just finish eating Popeyes? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Queen Sidem. Welcome. I just want to start off with a disclaimer. I am not a professional. That's it. I don't have my doctorates yet. This video should not substitute as professional help. Do not tell people, Queen said da 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 da. No, I'm just chit-chatting with you guys, drinking my little drink, and we talking. We having some girl talk, some guy and girl talk. We exchanging thoughts and ideas and experiences. But we're gonna talk about gaslighting. I'm just gonna rush through my makeup because this is not really a makeup tutorial. It's a chit chat. Get ready with me. So it's looking a little harsh because of the lighting, right? And is it really a YouTube video if I didn't just finish eating Popeyes? So like basically the terms gaslighting has been around for a while, but you know, when things go viral on Twitter and social media, like nowadays, like phrases are going viral, and gaslighting has been the talk of the town. And I myself didn't even know about it. I guess I didn't know that term. I knew of the type of manipulation from a narcissist, but I didn't really know the term gaslighting until I started hearing everyone say it. And I'm just like, why is everybody throwing this word around? And I did my research, and then I realized, you know, what this kind of manipulation is. And it was just like, oh my God, I know this. I've learned about this. I've experienced it. Hopefully I didn't do it. It's really loud tonight for some reason, so sorry guys for all the background noises. I'm gonna come back to my brows. I always come back to my brows because I feel like I lose it. It gets lost after I do all the concealer and the blending. But anyways, I did a survey on Instagram and I said, what do you guys want to chit chat about? Do you want to talk about like what to do when depressed? Because I know with the pandemic and quarantine and all the changes in our normal routine has a lot of us struggling or finding ways to cope or just things to do. We're realizing new things about the people that we're close with because we're spending more time talking to them or being physically with them. And I think it's just catching a lot of us off guard because we're used to having like so many distractions. And I figured, you know, why not do a topic on chit chat on one of the two, like gaslighting, because a lot of people are realizing that they know people who do it or who are victim of it. A lot of us are just like catching on to things we never did before about the people that we're around because we're spending more time with them. I think these are enough for now, and then I can come back and fix them. They're a little harsh right now, but we're gonna fix it. I just don't want to touch it too much while the gel is setting my hair as I proceed to touch them. Yeah. So gaslighting is a form of abuse. It really sounds like my windows are open. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. It's serious, and it's when someone is manipulating you to the point where you start to question your reality and question your feelings, like ultimately like just question your perception on life and what is and what isn't. And I know that statement is pretty like broad and general, right? Like it's like, so that happens all the time, you know, people just naturally like to lie and manipulate people. Work, friends, enemies, boyfriends, girlfriends, parents. Okay, so like what sets gaslighting apart from just general manipulation, right? Like we want to know, like, what is it though? Like, be more specific, guys. This is really bright. So I'm gonna work backwards. I'm gonna go in with my lightest concealer first, something new I've been doing. I really like how the finish is, but let's get back to the topic. I feel like I look too bright. I need to look a little more chocolate right there, but y'all gonna have to ignore like all these noises. I'm going to start with the lightest concealer as I talk to you. Sorry. What sets gaslighting apart from general manipulation, aside from the fact that it literally makes the victim question their reality, like that's a big thing. Like that's a big difference. But let's go even further in dissecting, like, what's the difference? How do I know if I'm being gaslighted or if I'm just being manipulated, or this person is just bugging out right now and it's nothing too concerning, right? The thing about gaslighting, it's not something that you can just, it's not something that just happens like one time, like, oh my God. I asked this girl if it was raining outside, and instead of looking out the window or checking her phone and telling me, she's literally gonna say no, it's not, without even knowing. Then I look out the window and I see it's raining, and I'm like, you just told me it wasn't raining. Like, why didn't you just say I don't know, instead of lying and making me think it wasn't rain? Now my hair is wet. This is really dramatic. Not really realistic, but some people do that. But let's just use that as an example. That is more like someone being lazy and not wanting to do the work, or it could be somebody that's just like, you could check yourself, like, why did you ask me? That's not necessarily gaslighting. What makes the manipulation gaslighting is when it's been gradually built, like someone has been literally grooming you for this distorted reality that they're trying to push on you. So this is something that works as a process, and it's a long game. It's not something that just happens. So let's say somebody at work, you know, you're telling them something happened and they're like, no, that's not what happened. Like, you're making stuff up. My phone. They're like, you're making stuff up at this point. And then you start to question, like, am I making this up? That's just the person at work trying to finesse you, possibly. You know, they haven't been grooming you for so long. And especially if you're aware that they're doing it, it's possibly not that they're gaslighting you intentionally. I would say what makes it really gaslighting is when you really start to feel insecure. You start to question everything. You start to wonder, like, is this true? Am I bugging? Am I crazy? Like, why am I like this? Like, that's when you know, like, oh, yeah. This person, whoever I'm in the relationship with, friendship, romantic relationship with, oh, this person got me. So I don't want to throw around that term, because it is really serious and it is really a big form of abuse, and it can really cause pain and trauma within people. So I don't want to just throw it around and kind of make it become less significant. I hope you take away that, you know, not everything is necessarily gaslighting. Like, we're gonna get into it and you're gonna catch on and you're gonna kind of catch my drift. Like, we're gonna keep talking about it. Now I'm gonna go in with one shade darker because I'm working backwards from light to dark. So I kind of hope that you can somewhat understand what makes gaslighting different from just general manipulation. It's something that's gradually built. It's a long process, right? It doesn't just happen randomly. It doesn't just happen once in a blue moon. It's something that the manipulator has been working on and like grooming your mind for. And they might not even realize they're doing it sometimes. You won't realize they're doing it if they're really like gaslighting and they're really good at it. You won't realize it until like later on. Because the people who gaslight are typically narcissists. And I know I'm like getting kind of technical now, but it's just, I don't know. Why not be technical? Like, why not use terms that we can all learn together? So these are stuff I learned in school, in college. I studied I studied personality disorders. We also throw around the term narcissist as well, but to really be a narcissist, it has to be, you know, you have to exhibit so many traits, and it has to be consistent long term. It can't just be once in a while they act like this. So you don't want to throw around that term either. But let's say you know what a narcissist is, somebody that really admires themselves and they live to put on a show, and the whole world revolves around them. And if they're unhappy, you know, they go out their way to make you unhappy until you get it right. And narcissists are extremely charming and very controlling, but they know how to work the room, and they know how to get people to really submit to them and follow their way. But again, this sounds like probably familiar, but I don't want you to think everyone is a narcissist. If they do these things, there's a long list, weeks at a time, months at a time, and it's really their lifestyle. Like, they have a disorder, right? So I'm not just talking about somebody who's really egotistical or arrogant, but these narcissists are very clever and very good at what they do, and very good at distorting reality and making people just submit to them and believe whatever they say and do whatever they want them to do. So now you're dealing with a pro, because if you don't catch my drift, like, narcissists are really professional people charmers and manipulators. So you won't really have your guard up with them. You know, they'll get you, they have a way of making people be vulnerable with them. Like, whatever they want, they usually get it. Like, they work you and make you learn their routine, their habits. And like, when I do this, when I ignore you, that means you said something that I didn't like too, and I'm not going to talk to you for the whole day. So be careful what you say to me, because then I won't talk to you the whole day. And then it makes you like tiptoe, like, oh my God, you know, I don't know what to say back. If I say this wrong way, he's not going to respond, she's not going to respond, whatever. I might use she a lot just out of habit, and I'm trying to break that habit, because it's not only men that manipulate women. But forgive me if I do. This is a lot. My face is getting cakey, but whatever. This helps me with like wearing my mask. So now I'm going to go with the darkest shades, really dark. Yeah, so we know what the difference is between gaslighting and just typical manipulation, or manipulation that happens by like happenstance, like it just happens because it's fitting for the scenario. We know what real gaslighting is, right? Long thought out process, conducted by typically a narcissist, somebody. Let's talk about the signs. Like, how can you spot it happening? Later we're going to talk about like what to do when it's happening, how to stop it. But we're gonna break this down. We got time. It's chit chat time. Let's take it slow. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna contour. I'm using this brush. So ways to spot when you're being gaslighted. So it starts off with lies. These people are constant liars. And again, like, someone can just be a pathological liar. It doesn't mean that they're gaslighting you. It doesn't mean that they're intentionally gaslighting you. But let me try to stop giving the disclaimers, okay? That's why it took so long in the intro, to try to get the disclaimers out so you don't just assume everyone is gaslighting you. But yeah, so it starts off with lies. Constant lies all the time. Like, literally, like, little lie. It starts off with little lies, of course. And you like kind of catch them in it and you're like, why'd you tell that little lie? Like, I have proof. It makes sense. Like, why lie when you know I know the truth? It could be something simple like, you said you were going to do the dishes when I came home from work, and you never said that. They said they were going to do the dishes, right? So I'm being like, for the sake of understanding, I'm giving like really ridiculous situations, and not ridiculous, you know, because this does happen to people in real life. So I don't want to dismiss what you're going through if this is something that they do to you, but just for the sake of understanding, I'm going to give these kind of examples that to some people might seem ridiculous. So it's like, you and your partner, friend, or whoever it is, had an agreement. They said they were going to do the dishes, but then when they get home and they see the dishes are not done, they're like, you said you were going to do the dishes. And you're like, no, I didn't. You said you were doing them today. What are you talking about, babe? And they're like, why would I say I'm doing them today and I had work? Like, you're not even making sense. Like, is that really logical to you? Like, they kind of switch it to you. Something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with the way your brain is processing. Something's wrong with what you're thinking. And you're kind of silly for even believing that. I would say I did the dishes. So I know I said a lot, so they just finessed you on something simple like the dishes. And you know for a fact that they said, you know, babe, I'm doing the dishes today. And then it just made you feel kind of silly, like, well, maybe he said that last week, and I'm kind of like not remembering, because he does have work. And so now you're questioning yourself. So the lies started, little lies, and now you're questioning like your memories. It has to do with, a lot of it has to do with like you start thinking like, oh, maybe I'm just forgetful. And they know that they're doing this to you sometimes. Like they know that they said what they said, and they're watching you kind of question yourself, and that's feeding them like, oh, I just convinced her of this and I didn't even mean to. So it starts off with that, like little lies, baby lies, and then what makes it really gaslighting is you starting to question your own truth. I'm looking real cakey, guys, but this is makeup for the mask. So when your mask takes off some of your makeup, you still look like on point. If you want me to redo this video or like this routine with like detailed descriptions, let me know. But this is a chit chat video, so I'm kind of just zooming past it. I'm gonna go back in with this. So you're spotting the lies, you're spotting yourself, like questioning your memory, like, I'll be bugging. Yeah, he ain't say that. That wouldn't even make sense. It's noise. You would think my window is open right now. I know people saying don't bake anymore, but whatever. Like, I sweat really bad and my makeup comes off from my mask. So I kind of bake for a few. But so then it moves on, like they get a little bit more intense with it as they're grooming you, like to kind of doubt yourself. Like that's already enough power. Then it moves on to dismissing your feelings. A lot of people dismiss feelings in fights and in arguments. You know, this is something that's common. It's not necessarily always gaslighting. I'm gonna keep telling you guys that. You know, don't be quick to say it is, but sometimes it is. Okay, so we're gonna talk about when it is. So let's say almost every single argument, you're left feeling like, why are you blank? So that can be, why am I so sensitive? Why am I so anxious? Why am I crazy? Why am I so forgetful? It leaves you feeling, why am I blank? Almost every single time. And this is because they're projecting, like if they're the ones that are doing the act. So let's say it's ignoring. They always ignore you, and then you ignore them, and they're like, oh my god, you always ignore me, this is just what you do, stop doing that. And you're like, this is projecting. You ignore me all the time. I don't do that to you. So that's one thing. They can be projecting things that they do onto you and making you think that you do it, or making you believe that they think you're doing it. Because sometimes they know they're just chatting and they're just making up stuff, and you're just eating it up. And when I say eating it up, I don't mean believing it. I mean, that can mean like you're just like, oh my god, they don't realize this, I need to help them in some way. Sometimes they want to sound crazy to you, so you can feel bad for them and want to save them. Like, everybody loves to be a hero in someone's life, and that gives grounds for attachment, because now you're attached to this person because you got to constantly save them. So it's just, there's levels to this. They know what they're doing. So they're making you question your feelings. They're dismissing it, and this could be by projecting. They're just saying you're too sensitive. Why do you feel this way? Sometimes you can be sensitive. I'm a very sensitive woman. I know this about myself. I learned this at a very young age. I take things personally that have nothing to do with me. I cry easily. I get angry easily. I have a lot of emotions going through me, and I tend to like internalize other people's thoughts and just make it in, oh my god, was I too much? Oh my god, they don't like me. You know, like, some people are sensitive, but for someone to constantly, like consistently tell you you're being too sensitive for every single thing, I know I'm sensitive, but I'm also not delusional. Sometimes you are wrong and you have to be held accountable. So gaslighters, I should say, can also dismiss your feelings by making you feel insecure about a trait you already have, like sensitivity. You're too sensitive. They know that you're really sensitive. Like that might have been an icebreaker in the past. Like, oh, I'm extra sensitive. That's something I gotta work on. Throw it in your face. You're just too sensitive. You think everything is against you. The whole world's against you. You play the victim. And they're doing that every single time they argue. So it's like, I'm sensitive every single time. But once again, like if they've been grooming you and taking the time to dip these little notions in your perception of your relationship with them and of who you are, you won't even realize that they're manipulating you. You're really thinking like, yeah, I am so sensitive. Like, I don't know why I'm so sensitive. Now you're texting your friends like, I'm so sensitive. He didn't even do anything. Stressful. Let me move on to other ways to spot it, because I can go into these bullets for hours. But another way to spot it is I already touched on like making you think that you just forgot that it happened and it really never happened, so they're playing with your memory now. Fast forward, now this is just your guys' reality. Like, this is how you guys interact, this is your relationship. You still have that love there because, like I said, narcissists are usually charming. They know when to give a little sprinkle, a little razzle-dazzle to keep you right there, to keep you on the line, the fishing line. I like to use analogies. I don't know if you guys follow them. I might throw those in there. My son just woke up and I'm gonna try to get this video out or else I have to start all over so you can hear his little milk sound effects. We're talking about ways to spot it. Another thing that they do is align people against you, like try to find like allies that will support what they're saying about you. People who know you, people they know, and they'll be like, you know Queen B XYZ, like whatever negative trait they're trying to give. And this is just them reinforcing to you, like putting it in your subconscious, like you're this way, like Queen is extra sensitive, whatever it is. She be doing that. She be playing a victim. She be doing this. Whatever they give title, whatever insecurity they want you to feel, they're taking time to drop it in your subconscious. Like, drop it in here and there. Yeah, so they kind of have like a hold on you in some way because there's a reason that you fell for them. Even if they're your friend, there's a reason that you became their friend and you have that friendship love for them or bond with them. So they know when to say things to kind of keep you on the hook. They know when to applaud you or praise you. And this works best when they've accomplished making you feel insecure in some way. So they got you feeling insecure or doubtful of yourself or of your reality or of who you are as a person. Like, maybe I am too much of this, maybe I am too much of that. So they got you with that. So now they have the power to make you feel good about yourself because they're the ones who kind of invalidated you or made you feel less worthy. So now they have the reins and they can say, here, you feel good now. I'm gonna make you feel good now because I see you might be kind of drifting away from me. No, let me make you feel good let me remind you why you're here. But everything is really just self-serving for them. So it's just such a big scheme, and they just work meticulously to plant seeds in not only your minds but in the people around you, just so they can have allies and just build this whole new reality which is not even real. And like, it sounds like, why are you so defensive? You're imagining things, you're crazy. And like I said earlier, you can have proof of something and they'll still deny it and they'll still lie knowing you have the proof. And sometimes this is just because they don't realize they're doing it. Sometimes it's because they're sick. They have a personality disorder. They have something they learned when they were little possibly, and this is the way they cope with trauma, that they just build a whole new reality and they just make everybody submit to it and be subjected to whatever they think is going on. That's just the way they grew up. It could be that they're just playing you. They're swindling you. I've dated someone who's made me think that they had this big issue, like need help, they need me in their life because I'm studying mental health, and I can't like let go of them because they're only hanging on by a thread, and it's all an act. Like their friends had to pull me to the side. Like, this is what he does. He's cool. Like, he tells us that he's lying to you. He's not going crazy. He is lying to you. This is what he does with girls. He makes them think he needs help, and he picks out girls that, you know, they're not telling me this. Now I know. Like, I'm adding on now. Like, some people pick out people who have that savior complex, and all those people who always want to help someone, and they always want to make somebody feel like home and make somebody feel nurtured and loved. People take advantage of that. So it could be that they know what they're doing, they don't realize what they're doing, they're just sick and they need help. Or it could be that they know what they're doing and they know you're gonna feel sorry for them and stay because you want to help them. It's levels to this thing, right? New growth is growing back, and it's just, the hairs are just spraying out in this video. Okay. Back again with this one palette. But yeah, so by the end of this, you don't even recognize yourself anymore, because you just become so, like, your self-esteem has decreased. You're just always doubting your reality. You don't know what's real, what's not. You don't know if your memory can be trusted, and you really turn into like almost a broken person. You're not who you were before, but you can't let go of this person. This is what like the ending stages look like. It's like they've got you in now. It's a little, ooh, it's harsh, but it's gonna blend in when I spray. Nah, this is a little too harsh. Two. By the ending stages, like if they've succeeded in doing it and you're in this relationship where it's just part of your routine, unfortunately, usually you guys know how to deal with each other, in terms of like, you know that this person, this narcissist, will not respond to you if you say something that they don't like. If you answer in a certain way, if you write them something that they told you they don't like when you write them, asking them about that. Something simple as, how was your day? I already told you I don't like when you ask me that, so I'm not gonna respond to you. So now you think, oh yeah, I can't ask them that because they don't like that. You guys know how to deal with each other so perfectly now that it's kind of just become your norm. And it's not healthy. Like, this toxic thing is becoming like the way of life for you guys. And you kind of get comfortable with it, and you don't want to leave it because it's your comfort zone now. Like, this is my person. You know, we're making it work. And this is just what it is. You're already attached. They controlled you and they groomed you into what they want you to be, into believing what they want you to believe. You already need them to make yourself feel valid. Like, when I meet their approval, I'm queen of the world. Like, we're great. Our relationship is so perfect. We're in this blissful state. You change all these things about yourself to adapt to what they want you to be. They've won. But the fight is not over. You can still stop this. You can still get out. You can still solve this in a way, at least for yourself. If not helping them, you can help yourself to get out of the situation. So here are some ways that you can like stop being gaslighted. Essentially, everything boils down to confidence. So you have to be so confident in your truth and in you and in yourself and in your reality. You have to know, you know, my feelings are valid. These situations, these memories that I have are true. There's always a possibility that, you know, things get torn up, things get lost in translation, lost in the past, like things, traumatic things that happen, when we kind of block parts of it out and we do forget things. And some people's coping mechanism is just to erase stuff from their memory that they didn't like. So often that's what they resort to, right? Telling you things never happened, even though you know it happened. But no, you have to be so confident and sure that you're not delusional, especially if you were not like this before you met them. I know people, it sounds cliche, like just be confident. No, really, and I'm not talking about appearance-wise right now. I'm talking about in your truth. You know your feelings were valid at this point. You can't lose every single argument and that be okay. That be, you know, yeah, I'm this way. I don't know why I'm like this. No, boo. Piggybacking off of confidence, you have to be aware. Once you know and you truthfully know that this person is gaslighting you and this is just the way it's been for years, so you know this is a real thing, a long, big scheme planned, that's a way to stop it right there, just being aware. That doesn't mean argue with them, that doesn't mean defend yourself, doesn't mean start a fight, that doesn't mean call them a gaslighter. Let them know. It just means being aware. Your mental is aware. This is already another shield of protection on you. It's part of your armor. So you got your confidence. You know your reality is true, and that only sometimes you might forget things, you know, because nobody's perfect. Number two, second part of your armor, being aware. When your mind is aware, it takes a life form, almost like builds you up to this stronger person, and people feel it. They don't see it, but they feel something about your energy, like, oh, you know, I don't think I could get over on her today or him today. So your consciousness and taking back the power of your mind, just being aware and not even stating it out loud, that's power right there. That's strength, and that is a way to stop being gaslighted. So 3, now this is a little bit different. It might be sounding a little bit contradicting, but number 3, have proof. If this has been going on so long and you've truly transformed into a different person where you really question your reality, like that's what makes it gaslighting, when you really genuinely don't know what's real and what's not, which feelings are valid, which memories are valid, and which aren't. When you find yourself in that place, you might need proof. I've been at that level before. That's my son's toy. I've been at that level before where I've needed to get my phone. Let me get my phone and write it down. Crazy? It's extra. It's ridiculous to some people. But to be in that situation where you genuinely don't know what's real and what's not, because you were so invested in this person and they've been planting these seeds for so long and so perfectly and so precisely that you really have your perception of reality is really distorted. You might need to screenshot things. You might need to write it down to remind yourself, not to throw it in their face, because again, we're not proving anything to them. They don't have the power, okay? Not one-upping anybody. We're trying to save ourselves right now, right? We focus on us before we try to change other people. And actually, we never want to try to change someone, but that's another chit-chat. But you want to remind yourself, this happened. This conversation went this way that day, just so you can remember for your own self. You might also need witnesses or a partner, and this is not just anyone, somebody that you really trust, but this has to be somebody you, like a day one, that knows that you're struggling with this crisis right now, because it is abuse if it goes to, you know, that far where you don't know what's real and what's not, and you're just this really weak and feeble person, and you're just so timid now, and you completely transformed and you can't go about your days regularly. You might need that person to be your reality check. Have that friend to give you like, do you remember when this happened, when we fought about this? Did I say this? Was I overreacting? No, boo, that really happened, you know. And then make sure that friend is honest too, like, yeah, I think you're stretching it a bit, you know. So you might need the screenshots, you would need proof, pictures. Maybe if it went as far as violence, physical acts, you might need pictures and stuff to remind yourself, oh, this happened. This wasn't an accident. This was intentional. You also might have to let them know here and there. I would say to pick your battles, because it's very hard to beat a narcissist, especially when you're not a narcissist. I'm just gonna go back into my eyebrows in case they got a little lost, you know, with all the blending and natural sweating, whatever it is. Eyebrows looking black. Okay. Yeah, so like if you are not, it's very hard to go up against a narcissist, especially when you're not one, right? Because they don't have empathy. They're not, no matter what you say, it's not gonna sink in with them in their heart, where they'll feel remorseful or like, oh my God, that was wrong. You know, I don't know why I'm like this. If they're saying, and they're actually a narcissist, they're saying this to make you, to still control you and to keep you around. So that's why I say, you know, don't call everyone a narcissist, because you might not be dealing with one, especially if they can change once you point something out to them. So I'm only talking about people who are really narcissists. So I would say one way to stop being gaslighted is just not engage in it. Don't indulge them. Let them tell it, you know, and just know, have that power of your mind, their consciousness. You know what's real. You know what they said. You have the proof. You know what's real. You know what they said. You got the upper hand already, so you don't want to always engage in them. And if you do have a situation where you do think it's beneficial to tell them, like maybe you really want things to work, you don't want to get out of the situation, you want to, for some reason, stay in it, First of all, with that, if you want to stay in it, I think professional help is probably what's best, and it can be helpful for both of you. And you might need some professional insight on how to, maintain your reality and your memories and your sanity, and also help them with their problem, because they might be the sick one. So I would say, like, if you want to stay in it and you're gonna get professional help, something else you can try is possibly pointing it out once in a while, not every single time. This is a narcissist you're going up against. Don't do it. Once in a while, you might say, no, let me show you what we discussed. It's right here on my phone. You said this. You see? And you stay be trying to play me like I don't remember. But all right. And they'll probably dismiss it. They'll probably still deny it too, just to make you think that they're crazy and make you feel sorry for them almost, and forgive them eventually. But you can call them out on it. I don't recommend it. This is like last resort to kind of say, this is the proof I have right here. Why are you trying to play like I don't remember? Don't play with me. You can also just straight up, like if it's a friend and you just kind of want to tell them about themselves. If it's anyone, really, you can just be like, I'm open to having this conversation, but I'm not going to allow you to dismiss my feelings and act like this never happened. Straight up. You might have to lose this person, and think of it as actually they're losing you. They're losing you as a great human being, a great, sensitive, caring person who's been patient. And you might have to walk away from that situation, especially if you're not gaining anything. You're losing more than you're gaining. If you guys are not helping each other grow, and it's not conducive to a happy, productive lifestyle, you might have to walk away if it's completely changing you for the worst. We're gonna kind of go back into confidence and self-esteem. You might want to indulge in a little self-care. Remind yourself, I'm that girl, or I'm that guy, Go to the nail salon, lotion up your body after you take a shower, and massage yourself. Like, really take time to love yourself on the outside as well. We like to talk about the inside a lot, confidence in who you are, your self-worth, but the outside does transcend into your heart. So, dressing up just to go to the store, it might seem shallow, but you're gonna feel good. You don't need the attention of other people complimenting you and making you feel good. Like, your happiness shouldn't come from other people, but you can be flattered. My son is gonna like this sound. So it's not necessarily dying for other people's attention. Allowing yourself to be flattered and feel loved. Like, okay, because I was in a funk and I'm not the one. I don't gotta settle. So it kind of reminds you about yourself, like, to be like this. Hold up, what? And that kind of gives you the strength to go back into your situation with the courage and strength that you need, and with that full armor. So I hope these tips help you. I know it's probably all over the place. I didn't have notes for this one. Like for my pregnancy videos, I usually have notes I stick to and I go by. But this is a chit chat. Get ready with me, a little rambling, and this is my updated mask routine. So it's really matte and it's kind of cakey, but it stays on with the mask. And yes, don't let them gaslight you, boo. My cheeks are red. But yes, get out of that situation. If you're gonna stay, seek help. And please don't throw this subject around, because it's very serious, it's very real, and it's very traumatizing, and it's not something that's easy. And if you know a friend that's going through it, you kind of want to check yourself to make sure you're not doing the same thing that person is doing to them. Like, if you know a friend that's going through it and you know that person is putting them down, like you're imagining this, you're creating this in your head, you're crazy. Even though your intention is to help your friend, you might kind of reinforcing what that person already put in their head. So you just want to be mindful of the things you say and the way that you might possibly be dismissive to other people's experiences and feelings. And it's hard, especially when you can't relate. It takes time, and this human thing is not easy, right? Nobody's the perfect human. But the first step is learning more and just being proactive, being understanding, being sympathetic. Not everyone can be empathetic, but just to be sympathetic. Like, I've never been through what you've been through, but I believe you and I accept you and your feelings are valid, and I hope that one day I can understand you. And some people who haven't been gaslighted before or can't relate are probably like, what? Somebody telling you a bull-faced lie, pull up the receipts, conversation done. Like, no, that's just being manipulated. Gaslighting is so intricate and it's so perfectly done that you do not realize it. You can be the smartest person in the world. You can be a psychologist, a therapist. You can be a doctor. You can just be a natural born empath. You know, forget degrees. You can just be somebody who reads people for a living. You know this. And it can still happen to you. But it's also with friendships and family. Like, so it might seem like common sense to some of you that I can't relate with it, and that's okay. But chances are you probably just deleted that person. Like, once you notice they told the little lie and you had proof right in front of you and they know you have the proof and they know y'all just had that conversation yesterday and they're lying about it. It was like, you crazy. I ain't even talking to you no more. Like, some people have never been gaslighted because when they notice stuff like that, they find it disturbing and uncomfortable, and they have the personality where they just cut it off from then and there. Other people, they just think, maybe that was, you know, a little lapse, maybe that was a little crazy moment and I forgive them and we can keep going forward. Like, it doesn't work on everyone. And sometimes it does work on you and you just don't know that you were in it before. But I'm not going to sit and say everyone's been gaslighted. To me, now where I am now, like about to be in my 30s, I think that I can spot it when it's happening to me. And do I always nip it in the bud? No. Sometimes I just let people tell it. Like, I'm like, okay, let you tell it and let them chat, and I'll just be like, noted, you're a pathological liar, it's not gonna work on me, and you know, and I kind of distance. But I'll keep you around because I don't know, I don't like cutting people off until like later on, like when I've had it. Because I don't want to like psychoanalyze people. Like, after this video you're gonna kind of feel like how most psychologists or psych majors or just empaths feel on a regular, like knowing this and getting an inside scoop into personalities and different traits and disorders. You can't turn it off almost, and it's hard to stop like psychoanalyzing everybody and just watching them and observing them. This is how we feel all day long. Cancers, water signs, Pisces, Scorpios, we be feeling like this all day long. Forget a degree. You don't need to be a psychologist to feel this way. But okay guys, that pretty much wraps it up. My son is saying, all right, mommy. What are you doing? My son is saying, let's go. If you yourself is going through this, you want to just make sure you seek all resources. There are virtual therapists, there's text message therapists, there's therapists you can see in person, and your insurance does, most insurances cover some type of therapy. You can also go on to Psychology Today. It's kind of like a MySpace for psychologists and counselors, and you know, put in the work. We gotta live happy lives, okay? We only have one life to live here on earth. Okay, let's make the best of it. Why stay at Sabotage Lane? If your car got stuck in turmoil, are you gonna stay there? No, you're not gonna stay there. You're gonna find a way out. So why stay? Why stay in these situations without getting the help you need? You know what I'm saying? Peace and love and light.